Have you ever sat by the window in the morning, sipping your tea or coffee, watching the world slowly come to life and wondered, why do some days just feel heavier than others? Not physically, though that can happen too, but emotionally. Like the smile doesn't come as easily, or the spark just isn't there. It's something many of us experience after 70. Life slows down, routines change, and sometimes that quiet space we once cherished starts to feel a little too quiet. But what if I told you that feeling lighter, more joyful, and more connected every single day isn't just a nice idea? It's something you can actually cultivate one small practice at a time. There are people in their 70s, 80s, even 90s who wake up each day with a sense of purpose, who laugh with ease, who carry a peaceful kind of happiness that can't be shaken by aches, wrinkles, or the number of candles on a birthday cake. And it's not because they were just lucky or born with a positive attitude. Many of them follow simple, intentional habits that nourish their mind just as much as their body. In this video, we'll talk about 6 daily practices that can help bring more peace, joy, and mental clarity into your life, no matter your age. These aren't theories or wishful thinking. These are science-backed habits and real-life experiences from people who've learned how to keep their minds happy well into their golden years. Let's start with the first one, and it's something beautifully simple, yet incredibly powerful. Start your day with quiet reflection, not scrolling through news or checking the phone right away, not even turning on the television, just you and a few minutes of stillness. Maybe you sit with a cup of warm tea, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Maybe you say a prayer or think of one thing you're grateful for. This kind of morning mindfulness helps set the emotional tone for the entire day. Studies have shown that even just 5 to 10 minutes of intentional quiet can reduce stress hormones, improve mood, and support long-term mental well-being. Take Mr. Huang, an 82-year-old retired school teacher who lives just outside Da Nang. Every morning, he sits on his balcony, listens to the sound of birds, and thanks the day for arriving. He says it gives him a sense of control, a sense of peace. Even if my legs ache or the sky looks gray, he once said, I decide how I greet the day. That mindset matters more than we often realize. Now, once your mind has gently awakened, your body should follow, and that leads us to our second daily practice. Move in the morning. And no, this doesn't mean hitting the gym or running laps around the block. Movement after 70 should be kind, consistent, and tailored to how you feel that day. It could be a short walk around your garden, stretching your arms and back while holding onto the kitchen counter, or doing a few light yoga poses with a chair for support. What matters isn't the intensity, it's the intention. Daily movement has been linked to better mood, sharper thinking, and even slower cognitive decline. It tells your brain, I'm alive, I'm capable, and I'm still in motion. And it's not just about muscles or balance, it's about mindset. When we move, we shift stagnant energy. We create a natural rhythm that carries us through the rest of the day. Think of it as greasing the wheels of both body and mind. And if you can, try doing this movement outdoors. Sunshine and fresh air do wonders for your spirit. There's a reason doctors recommend light exposure in the morning. It boosts serotonin, which helps with both energy and mood. Plus, nature has a calming effect on the brain. The sound of trees rustling, the warmth of sunlight on your face, even the smell of the earth. These are free, natural mood boosters available every single day. Our third practice might surprise you, because it sounds simple, but it holds incredible emotional power. Engage in meaningful connection, even briefly. And by meaningful, I don't mean long conversations or deep philosophical talks, though those are lovely too. I mean intentional, heartfelt moments with another human being. It could be a warm good morning to your neighbor, a quick chat with the lady at the market, or calling an old friend just to hear their voice. Social connection is vital for mental well-being, especially as we age. Studies have found that people with regular social interactions experience lower rates of depression and even live longer. But beyond the science, it just feels good. It reminds us we belong, we matter, we're not alone. A beautiful example is Ms. Lan, a 76-year-old widow who makes it a point to call her cousin every afternoon. Not for anything important, just to share what they cooked that day or something they saw on television. That one phone call, she says, keeps my heart warm, even on days when my house feels empty. And if you don't have someone to call, consider joining a local club or even saying hello to someone new during your morning walk. Connection doesn't need to be big to be meaningful. Sometimes even eye contact and a smile can brighten someone's whole day, including yours. Now that we've touched on setting the tone with reflection, moving your body, and connecting with others, it's time to go even deeper into the habits that help your mind stay bright, calm, and content. One of the most beautiful things about growing older is the freedom it brings. You're no longer running after deadlines, raising children, or chasing promotions. There's space now, space to rediscover yourself, to go inward, and to nourish what truly matters. And one of the most powerful ways to do that, especially after 70, is to feed your mind, not just with memories, but with curiosity. Mr. Min, a 79-year-old grandfather in Hue, started practicing English on his phone during the pandemic, just 10 minutes a day. He told me he didn't care if he ever became fluent. "I just like that it makes me feel young again," he said, "like my mind is still growing, not shrinking." That's the magic of learning. It makes you feel alive. It opens up tiny windows in the brain that let light in. And that light often chases away worry, sadness, or the heaviness of routine. So, whether it's a book you've always wanted to read, a new hobby like painting or gardening, or even just listening to a podcast about something that fascinates you, make it a daily habit. Your brain will thank you with clarity, focus, and a quiet kind of happiness that comes from growth. Now let's talk about something we often overlook in conversations about happiness, but it might just be the most underrated habit of all. Doing something kind for someone else every day, even something small. You see, when we shift our focus outward, when we give, serve, or simply brighten someone else's day, our own worries often shrink. It creates a sense of meaning, a sense that we're still needed, still capable of making a difference. Acts of kindness don't have to be grand gestures. Maybe you cook a little extra rice and give it to the neighbor who lives alone. Maybe you write a note of encouragement to your grandchild. Maybe you water your friend's plants when they're away. Even smiling at a stranger or letting someone go ahead of you in line has an impact on them and on you. Kindness is medicine for the mind. It activates parts of the brain associated with joy and reward. It literally rewires your emotional state. Ms. Bitch, 73, who lives in a quiet village near the Mekong Delta, has a little routine. Every morning she walks to the market not just to shop, but to compliment at least one person she sees. "I love telling someone their ao dai looks pretty or their smile is lovely," she laughs. "They brighten up, and so do I." That's the thing about kindness. It's never wasted. It multiplies. But there's one more layer to this habit of kindness, and it's often the hardest one: being kind to yourself. We can be so generous with others, but when it comes to our own flaws, mistakes, or aging bodies, we're often too harsh. A happy mind begins with a gentle one. So each day, speak to yourself with the same compassion you'd give a friend. Forgive yourself for forgetting things. Praise yourself for small wins. And rest when you need to, without guilt. Now imagine combining learning with kindness and connection. It creates a rhythm to the day, a sense that life, even after 70, still has texture, color, and motion. That brings us to another quiet but profound habit, one that many people overlook because it seems so ordinary. But when done with intention, it becomes a daily dose of joy. I'm talking about creating something. This could mean writing in a journal, drawing, baking a cake, knitting a scarf, arranging flowers, or even singing your favorite song while you wash the dishes. Creation gives us a sense of agency. It reminds us that we're not just passive observers of life, but active participants. And when you create something, no matter how simple, you leave a little mark of yourself in the world. That act is both grounding and uplifting. Take Mr. Tuan, a soft-spoken man in his late 70s who started carving wooden animals for his grandchildren after retiring. He says he loses track of time when he's in his little workshop. "I forget my back pain, I forget the news, I forget my age," he smiles. "It's just me and the wood and the joy of shaping it." That's what creating does. It absorbs your mind in the present moment, away from worry, away from regret. And that kind of focus is one of the purest forms of happiness. You don't have to be an artist or a chef or a writer. You just have to try. Create with your hands, with your voice, with your heart. Even a small act of creativity every day can soften sadness, ease loneliness, and invite joy into your routine. So as your day unfolds, starting with quiet reflection, moving your body, connecting with others, learning something new, showing kindness, and creating something small, you begin to notice a shift. Not overnight, not in a burst, but gently. A sense of peace settles into your chest. You look in the mirror and see not just an aging face, but a wise one. A person who is still growing, still glowing, still living fully. And perhaps most importantly, you begin to realize that happiness at this stage of life isn't something you chase. It's something you practice, one day at a time, one gentle, joyful step at a time. That brings us to the fourth daily practice. Learn something new every single day. Now, before you think, I'm too old to learn, let me tell you something science knows for sure. Your brain never stops changing. It's called neuroplasticity. That means your brain continues to form new connections well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond, especially when it's challenged with new information. And we're not talking about going back to school or memorizing textbooks. It can be as simple as reading one interesting article, watching a documentary, trying a new recipe, or even learning 5 new words in another language. There's something truly powerful about simple things. A warm cup of tea in the morning, a kind word exchanged with a neighbor, a quiet walk under the shade of old trees. These little rituals, when done with presence, begin to shape our emotional landscape. And perhaps the most subtle, yet most transformative practice of all is the one many people forget to include in their daily life after 70, gratitude. It might sound too simple, too cliché, but the truth is, gratitude is like a soft light that filters through the mind, chasing away shadows of regret, fear, or sadness. It doesn't take away pain, but it reminds us of what's still good, what still matters, what's still here. One elderly woman, whom I'll call Auntie Lan, shared something beautiful with me. Every night, before she sleeps, she whispers 3 things she's grateful for. Some nights it's as simple as my warm blanket, the sound of rain, and my daughter's phone call. Other nights it's deeper, memories, forgiveness, even her own strength through hard times. It helps me sleep with a calm heart, she told me, and wake up lighter. That's the magic of gratitude. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. And with that shift comes a soft joy, quiet but lasting. Now, with all these practices, movement, connection, curiosity, kindness, creativity, and gratitude, there's one final piece that ties them all together: being present. Truly present, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So often, our minds are caught in the past or rushing into the future, regrets of what we should have done differently, worries about health, money, or loved ones. But life only ever happens in this moment, right now, as you sit here listening. And learning to fully be in this moment is the foundation of a happy mind. You don't need to sit in silence for hours or become a meditation expert. Presence can be practiced in tiny, beautiful ways. When you sip your tea, really taste it. When you speak to someone, listen with your whole attention. When you walk, notice the rhythm of your steps, the way the air touches your face, the way your feet carry you without complaint. Presence is a gift you give yourself, and the older we grow, the more precious each moment becomes. So why rush through it? Why let it slip by unnoticed? There's a man named Ong Sao, 82 years old, who spends 10 minutes each morning just watching the sunrise from his porch. It's my reminder, he says, that every day is new. Even at my age, I still get new mornings. That's something to smile about. And he's right. Every day we wake up, we're given another chance to love, to rest, to grow, to enjoy, and to simply be. That's what happiness really is. Not a destination, not a result of having everything go right. It's a state of being, nurtured by small, consistent choices. Choosing to move, to connect, to learn, to give, to create, to appreciate, and to be here, fully, joyfully, peacefully. And if you ever feel overwhelmed, unsure where to start, just return to your breath. It's always there, steady and quiet. Breathe in and remind yourself, I'm alive. Breathe out and release whatever you're holding. Do that a few times each day, and you'll begin to notice a shift, not just in your body, but in your heart. Remember, there is no age limit on joy, no expiration date on meaning. At 70, 80, even 90, you are still writing your story, and you get to choose how that story feels. Every day is a blank page, and these simple daily practices are like a gentle pen, sketching out peace, fulfillment, and hope. You've come so far. You've lived through decades of change, growth, loss, and love. You carry wisdom in your eyes, stories in your hands, and strength in your silence. And now, more than ever, you deserve to feel at ease in your mind and spirit. So take these habits, not as rules, but as gentle companions. Let them walk with you through your days. And as they do, may you find your heart a little lighter, your smile a little easier, and your mind a little happier. If this message speaks to you, or if you've already been practicing some of these habits, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments. Your story could inspire someone else who needs it. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel so we can continue growing, sharing, and supporting each other through this beautiful stage of life. Here's to living fully, feeling deeply, and embracing every day with grace. No matter your age, joy still belongs to you, and you deserve it. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about pausing for a few moments each day and noticing the small gifts that often go unseen. Your hands may not be as strong as they once were, but they still hold. Your memory may slip, but you still recall the face of a grandchild or the scent of your favorite flower. Your heart may have been through loss, but it still loves. And that, in itself, is extraordinary.